It wasn't long before HOA Karen tried another stunt, this time targeting my pool. One sunny afternoon, she called 911, claiming that my pool party was disturbing the peace and violating neighborhood rules. She didn't know that the governor's family was attending as special guests, mingling casually with my friends on the sun-drenched patio. By the time the police arrived, Karen was already pacing the driveway, waving her HOA handbook like a flag of authority. "I demand you shut down this illegal gathering," she shouted, her face red enough to rival the sunset behind the hills. I strolled out wearing sunglasses, casually holding a tray of drinks. "Officer, could you please explain to Karen that this is my property, and she has no jurisdiction here?" The officers, trying not to laugh, glanced at the VIPs lounging by the pool. One whispered to me, "You might want to mention the governor's family is here." I nodded politely, letting the words sink in. Karen froze mid-rant, realizing the magnitude of her mistake. She had called the cops on a gathering that included some of the most influential people in the state. Not wanting to let her humiliation go unnoticed, I decided to add a little flair. I turned up the music, encouraged the guests to enjoy the pool, and even introduced a HOA Karen observation zone, a small area with beach chairs, sunglasses, and a clear view of the chaos she had caused. Karen glared from the driveway, stuck in an awkward combination of rage, fear, and embarrassment. The party continued, laughter echoing over the water, as Karen's repeated calls to 911 went unanswered. The officers politely informed her that everything was legal, fully permitted, and, in fact, entirely on private property. She sputtered and fumed but eventually retreated, muttering about rules that didn't apply. I leaned back on a lounge chair, sipping a drink, and watched as the guests enjoyed the pool. My cows, who had wandered nearby out of curiosity, stared disapprovingly at Karen, as if reinforcing the point that she did not belong here. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, Karen had disappeared into her car, defeated once again by the simple truth: you cannot control someone else's land, especially when VIPs are involved. Later that evening, I reviewed the security footage. Karen's frantic waving, her shouting, the chaos of the aborted 911 calls. It was all there. I saved a copy for posterity and perhaps a little gentle blackmail in case she ever got any ideas about returning. The lesson was clear: never interfere with a rancher's property, and especially never attempt to police a pool party attended by dignitaries. The ranch had survived another Karen attack, and my guests, oblivious to the drama, enjoyed an evening of swimming, laughter, and champagne. I poured myself one last drink and toasted to the simple joys of property ownership. Karen could call the cops until her arms ached, but on this ranch I made the rules, and she would learn that lesson over and over again, each time with a little more humiliation.